Hey up everyone, hope you're all doing well. Jon Jones is yet again in trouble. Now last night the big news was that Jon Jones is officially retired and Tom Aspinall is now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and that's great. But then a few hours later it came out that Jon Jones is again in trouble. So I'm not going to waste your time, let's see what this guy has done now. So here we have the article, and don't worry, I will leave the link in the description, so if you want to go and read it through yourself, well then you can do, but we're going to go through it all anyways, don't you worry. And the headline is Jon Jones hit with new criminal charge in New Mexico for leaving scene of an accident. And straight away this is giving me deja vu, because this fucking happened like 10 years ago where he fled the scene of an accident. This isn't anything new, but at the same time it is a new situation. And we also find out it says Jon Jones officially retired from fighting on Saturday, but now the former UFC heavyweight champion faces new legal trouble after charges were filed against him in New Mexico. I'm not going to read this part here, but it does say here that it happened on the 24th of February this year. So a few months later, this is when it all came out. Again, if you want to read some more here, I don't really understand this shit, but if you want to see some more here, you can pause it right now and see all that information right there. The Albuquerque Journal first reported that the charges stem from a car accident where a woman was found in the front passenger seat of one of the vehicles involved, and she was exhibiting signs of significant intoxications and lacking clothing from the waist down, which is a fucking very bizarre scenario to be in. Like, the fact that she's lacking clothing is fucking crazy. The woman reportedly told police Jones was a driver of a vehicle, but he fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones on the phone, and the police service aide claimed the person on the phone, who they believed to be Jones, appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties. And again, Jon Jones, vehicle, intoxicated, nothing really new, but it's happening again. This guy, it is a massive shame, because it seems as though this guy has a massive drinking problem, because whenever you see Jon Jones in the news, he's never sober. It's always something to do with him being intoxicated, him being off his tits, and it seems to just be another one of those sort of scenarios. And it gives me flashbacks of, do you remember when DC did, was it Counterpunch with Jon Jones to the build to the rematch maybe for UFC 200 before it got cancelled? He was like, oh, you know, this is just going to happen again and again and again for Jon Jones, and he was absolutely right. He said that he saw like the PR lady of Jon Jones, and like he knows that she's going to have a fucking nightmare dealing with Jon Jones, and guess what? I'd imagine she is having constant nightmares having to deal with the shit of Jon Jones. But we read on. When a police officer spoke to Jones, he allegedly made allusions to violence as well, but never answered directly when asked to identify himself. Police say they eventually interviewed Jones in person a few days later, and he claimed the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day and was intoxicated. Jones claims she called him after getting in the crash, and the person she had handed the phone to immediately opened the conversations with unprofessional language, which led to him to doubt the legitimacy of the individual's claim. The woman involved in the accident told police she had allegedly drank alcohol and consumed mushrooms at Jon Jones's house, and stated she needed to change clothes, but her next recollection was being at the scene of a traffic accident. She told the police the last person she remembered driving her vehicle was Jon Jones, and I still don't know why the need to change clothes. Maybe she spilt something or thingy, but I don't know why. But regardless, her next memory was apparently being in the car with Jon Jones. Why? Maybe Jones was trying to drop her off. God knows. We need to find out more information about this, but it doesn't look the best, and it isn't the brightest of ideas at Jones. Even if he was trying to do well there, fair play, but at the exact same time, you know you've got a long-lasting history with being intoxicated and being on the road, and look how it's fucking ended. You've been in another fucking accident again because of it. So maybe if he was, you know, looking at the thingy, he was trying to be good in this instance, but regardless, it's just common sense. You know, you've been done for it before. It's happened so many times. Don't put yourself in that scenario again, and he has done, and he's getting done for it again. The police report states Jones called the woman's phone a total of 13 times from the time of the crash until the next morning, and he also sent her text messages as well. So clearly these two are close if they got each other's phone numbers and exchanging calls and texts and stuff like that. But this is just crazy to me. I think the rest of the article just goes on, yeah, to say how about his past and whatnot, but just, is this surprising, guys? Is this surprising? And maybe this is the worst possible timing for Jones to get in any trouble, considering he's just retired. Maybe this was planned out. Maybe he did retire because he wanted to soften the blow of these reports of him being in trouble. You know, if this just came out of nowhere, it would have been made a bigger deal. But with the fact that he's now retired, I feel like more people are talking about that and Aspinall being the champion as well. But maybe it's taken a lot of eyes away from the fact that he's now getting done again. Maybe that was planned out by Jon Jones, because Jon Jones apparently called Dana White the night before Dana White announced that he's retired. And it was just the night before. So Nate Jones was like, fuck, that's going to come out soon. Let's try to soften the blow a bit. And let's just fucking retire, shall we? Because I've been dancing with that, the thought of that for a while. On the flip side, this could have fucked him over because he's now going to be in court. And court, you know, it's going to cost a fucking load, I'm going to assume. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Jones is skint or anything. He's probably made a fuck ton of money. I've heard he made a stupid amount of money for that Russian thing in Thailand. He made a fuck ton of money. Even DC said that as well. However, he's going to have to chuck up a lot of money for this court case, and you just had potentially the biggest fight. Well, you potentially had the biggest payday of your entire career against Tom Aspinall, and you just said no, and you've retired. So now the UFC aren't going to help you in this situation, because what can you do for them? You've just retired. You aren't getting that big payday against Tom Aspinall anymore. And it kind of shows that you're that scared of Tom Aspinall that you're more willing to fucking, you know, take a big dent on your financial side of things instead of fight Tom Aspinall, which is fucking crazy. But what do you guys make of this? I wasn't surprised when I read this, unfortunately. It's just the same old shit. We've got Jones and Conor McGregor, the two biggest faces in MMA history, and they just seem to constantly be getting in trouble and in shit, and it's such a shame. But what do you guys make of all this? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.